きよいはきよい大相撲
Hello and welcome to the Sumo Mainichi live stream of, I could call it the best division of all. It is a great division, the second top division of professional sumo. It is Juryo, and we're here to bring it to you.
So it's Amy and Dave here from probably one of your top 5 favourite English language sumo podcasts, Sumo Mainichi. We are here today in Melbourne, Australia, bringing you all the action from day 8 of the Juryo division, taking place in Tokyo, Japan for the Hatsu Basho. Beautiful day for sumo in Tokyo today. It's 12 degrees Celsius, 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
People do have their jackets on.
They do. And we get to see at this time of year the Rikishi coming into the stadium in their beautiful winter yukatas.
Yeah, we saw some great photos from Brian, who's a Sumo Mainichi listener. He was in the Juryo stream last Sunday and might be again, but he was at the Sumo on Friday and just took a whole lot of amazing pictures of one of the best parts of going to a basho, which is seeing the guys come in. Hey, Corey and Siggy. It is so great to have you guys here.
Welcome.
One day we're going to watch sumo together. It's going to happen in person, but for now it's on the internet. And it's Juryo on day 8. Nakabi.
And so on your screens at the moment, we are seeing the last couple of bouts of Makushita. Here we have Tsukahara and Kamito about to get going. As we start to see the Kokugikan Stadium start to fill up a little bit, it's hard to look past the complete disinterest that the Tokyo natives have with this division. And this is the kind of sumo they're missing out on. We get to see Tsukahara absolutely obliterate Kamito on that occasion. Today, it's the middle day of the action in this basho. Juryo, of course, looking very interesting. We have Asaniyama out on 7-0.
Yeah, I was going to say that the vibe at this time of the day is getting much better because screaming and drinking have come back, or external voice, the external voice of the people watching has come back. And so the vibe for Asaniyama, the leader of Juryo, has really come back. As he came out for the Juryo Doyo Iri, everyone was calling out his name. There were a whole lot of people very vibed for him.
Absolutely. He's a favourite son of sumo fans. People seem to have forgiven and forgotten.
Absolutely.
As have I. 7-0. It looks like dominance on the scoreboard, although
there was one person who put up a bit of a fight, wasn't there? It was Roga.
Roga put up a bit of a fight, and I would say yesterday as well, Asaniyama faced up against, I want to say, Shimazumi, and he gave him a good shake as well. So not all clean, you don't say clean sailing, what is it? Easy sailing?
Smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing. I'm not much of a boat person myself. I prefer dry land. And Asaniyama goes into this middle day on 7-0. Behind him, though, he's got a couple of Rikishi hot on his tail on 6 wins and 1 loss. Tohakuryu at Juryo 4. And Kim Bozan, impressing at Juryo 5, looks dominant. There's a big pack on 5 wins. We have Hokuseho there on 5 wins.
Yep.
It feels like maybe people are finding a way inside his defence.
I think so. He's still finding a way to stand up to them, literally. That's what he does in his sumo. But yeah, people are working their way around him, trying to find something up against him. But he's still got the majority of the wins so far. Also on the pack of 5 wins, we've got Daishoho. Chionokuni, you're very happy about that. I don't know how he's jagged these wins, but he has.
Whoa.
Pardon.
How he has carefully constructed these wins.
My bad. I'm so sorry.
Including something you thought was a henker.
Oh. I think we were screaming about it on day 1.
Yeah, well, we were. Who can forget?
That's when we sounded our most Australian. Siggy, you put that up on your Instagram, and I could not get over how Australian we sounded. Our accents are very broad.
I don't know how to break this to you. We sound like this all the time.
Yeah.
Mate.
And actually our accents across the board are not that broad. There's way broader than ours. So
True. Welcome to Aaron. Welcome to Tabby. Hey, Scott. And Hakioi Sumo.
Yeah.
Look, completely agree. Just, to hear someone at the top of their lungs, probably 4 or 5, big tins of beer deep,
Yes.
scream out a Rikishi's name.
I'm seeing those large Asahi cans in the audience
Oh,
again.
yes.
I'm loving it. And to Mayan as well in Vancouver with Aaron. Welcome. Also
And
on 5 wins, I got halfway through it. Roga, looking great. Gonoyama, surprisingly, not surprisingly,
Well.
he's doing well this time around.
And he gets to test himself against Asaniyama today.
Yep, and the Juryo debutante Shona Naomi.
We
Here we have Shiden against Dewanori.
Yeah, Dewanori is going to work here, really trying to grind this one out against Shiden. Yeah, the Gyorji trying to get something happening here, but it looks like Dewanori. Sorry, I was going to say Dewanori. Dewanoryu with that belt position might be here. Love to see Shiden just grabbing onto the Sagari. You can't really get a lot of purchase doing that, but
Well, he's ended up
he
with
got
them.
with the win.
He's ended up with them, so
Yeah,
that's
great
something.
stuff. Okay, well that's it for Makukushita. Makukushita.
Yeah,
What's
that-
wrong with my saying of words?
That's putting
Makushita.
both of those divisions together, which, to be fair, would be very fun.
Oh, jeez.
But it
Oh, I
is
like that.
Juryo time. It's Juryo time. Can Asaniyama win again? When I was watching the Juryo Doya Iri, I did notice the other Rikishi who got the largest rounds of applause. This isn't surprising at all, but Enho, of course, was one of them. His popularity has been untainted, I would say, by his drop to Juryo and extended stay. Also noticed that Atami Fuji is very popular. He got a lot of name calling and cheering. But Hokuseiho didn't seem as popular. I don't know why that is. I mean, I'm not as huge a fan as a lot of people seem to be, but the audience seemed a little cool on him. So he might need to win people over as he goes, I think.
Great to have you with us, Annie, as we see our first 2 Rikishi step up onto the doyo. Tomokaze and Keisho. Tomokaze today, he's a Makushita visitor, visiting us from Makushita 2. Tomokaze.
Yeah, dropped all
Yeah.
the way down to Sandanme with injury. He was out for quite a while.
Looking over his record, his ascent to all the way to Maegashira 3 back in September 2019. He did that over a 2-year period of absolute dominance. But that injury that saw him sit out nearly 2 years. He's worked his way back from Sundame, but you wouldn't say it's been a meteoric rise. He's now at the top of Makushita 2, but 1 win and 3 losses.
Yeah, he's not looking great. He's in Nishonoseki Beya with ex-Kisunosado, Nishonoseki Oyakata, so I hope that he does succeed in coming back, but it doesn't look that great. He has got a very... Is that something under his taping on his right foot? It looks very black. It doesn't look great there.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that the foot has
Oh no, it's died.
died. That's pretty dramatic for early Juryo, so don't look at that foot again, I advise everyone. Here he is, the man himself, Asanoyama, just blitzing the opposition, with a few exceptions, like we talked about before. There are people standing up to him, people who are as big and powerful as him, like Roga and Shonanomi, but also some of the smaller guys trying to get around, but no one's had success yet. And it does look like if a whole lot of people, I'm just going to put this out there, quite a few people drop out of Makuuchi, could he go from Juryo 12 straight up if he gets an unbeaten Yusho?
Oh, I don't know about that, but maybe Tim can tell us historically when that's happened before. All right, looks like the Gyorji is ready
Look at
to
the colour
go.
of his foot.
Tomokaze and Keisho. Oh, jeez, that bandage looks too tight. Keisho down first. Tomokaze charges forward. Yeah, gives him a pat on the chest, said, sorry about that, mate. Let's have another go at that. Now you've really made me conscious about how Australian I sound.
Just say mate.
Mate.
It's a difference between mate and mate.
Mate. All right, they get ready to go again. Keisho comes forward, but Tomokaze's trying to slap high, keeping Keisho off the belt, and he pulls, sends Keisho to the ground. Very important win, I would say, there for Tomokaze at Makushita 2. He'll go back to that division with 2 and 3 as his score, and Keisho on 3 and 5.
Well, that keeps him in the running, actually, for moving back up to Juryo. If he had have lost today, that would have been his Makekoshi, and that would have been another definite basho in Makushita for him. I'm also a big fan of Tomokaze, and for me, it's because of the piano as well. Like, I love the fact that he's a very good classical pianist. I think it's really, really cool when people have, you know, quite different hobbies that aren't always perceived as going together. I think that's super cool. So go Tomokaze, you can do it.
Be great to see him back. The kimarete on that one was Hataki Komi, which is the cursed kimarete. Up next on the doyo, Chiyo Sakae and Shona no Umi. Chiyo Sakae not having a lot of luck so far in this first week of the basho from Juryo 11. He's 2 and 5. 32 years old, he's seen a lot of sumo in his time. Would you believe, though, that his highest rank was back Juryo 10 in November last time?
His opponent is Shonan no Umi. He's going very, very well so far on 5 and 2. He started off with a win when we were commentating Juryo last Sunday, and he had a win yesterday. Just 2 losses along the way, but looking fantastic. His losses were against Gonoyama, who is also in form, and Sushimanada on day 2. That was a little bit of a blip there. But Shonan no Umi, after finally finding his way after a long time in sumo to Juryo, looks quite pleased with himself and looks like he's going to stick around.
Well, we start to see the crowd building towards what will be another capacity crowd, I'd say, today. Chiyo Sakae, of course, picking up that win yesterday. Can he keep it going, getting that second win? I mean, he beat Terutsuyoshi yesterday.
Yeah, Terutsuyoshi. Well, we'll get to him, won't we?
Well, we will. We see a few Shonan no Umi banners up in the crowd there. That beautiful, what do we call that? Bright coral mawashi?
Yeah, coral. Yeah. Matched with the towel.
Well, I wouldn't call that matching.
Oh, it's not bad.
That's a clash.
We were at Bunnings today, and we were in the paint department having a look at paint swatches. So maybe our eyes have been heightened by that, and we realised that the towel doesn't quite match the coral, the bright coral. But it could be a matte versus a, what's the opposite of matte?
Gloss.
Gloss effect.
Can you get gloss mawashi?
Can you get gloss towels, I think is the question.
So, but I think there's room for innovation in the towel space.
The mawashi is gloss, the towel's matte.
Well, maybe you're right.
Shonan no Umi, he's got a gravitas to him. There's no bouncing around, there's no extraneous movement. He looks like he's always meant to be here, even though he's just hit Juryo 13. He looks like he has every intent to be here forever. Chiyo Sakae, though, bouncing around. He's much further forward. He comes forward against Shonan no Umi's chest, trying to push him back. Shonan no Umi jumps to his side, and in doing so, slaps Chiyo Sakae to the ground. That's another win for Shonan no Umi.
Well, you spoke about the efficiency of Shonan no Umi's preparation there. We definitely saw that out on the doyo. There wasn't a huge jump to the side, but it was perfectly timed. And as we'll see here in the replay, perfectly executed. You can see Chiyo Sakae struggling to get in close. The Shonan no Umi defense was good. Yeah, he controlled that very, very well. And we have our second Hataki Komi in a row.
It's time for Asaniyama. There are many variations of towel for him in the crowd. We've noticed this as something that's really started to branch out the type of towels with a Rikishi's name on it. And I just need to know how I can get every single one for Shodai. There's the ones with the head in the corner. So unpopular to want Shodai towels now. Don't know why I'm still admitting it. the ones with, that people have made themselves, perhaps a little bit harder to obtain for us in the West. We might need to make our own, I suppose. The ones with the head in the corner, the normal original towels, but there really seems to be a whole lot of arty ones now that are popping up, and I need to know where I can get them.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen towels with the faces, towels with extra messages on them. To me, it dilutes what a sumo towel should be.
Oh, right, you don't like it.
No, I don't like it. I just need a fat font Rikishi name.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah. And what's your preferred colour on that? Or do you think they should be all different or all the same colour?
It should be matched to the Mawashi colour.
Yeah, what if they change?
New towels.
New towels.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you can collect the set. It makes consumers buy more towels.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Why don't you work in sales?
Well, the towel business is very, very hard to get into. Well, Gonoyama, 5-2. We spoke earlier about how impressive his sumo has been in this first week. Only 24 years of age. He's from Osaka. Only his 4th basho in Juryo. Finds himself at his highest rank. And I would say today, probably the biggest test of his career up against Asaniyama.
A fairly new name change for him as homage, maybe, or as fitting in with his heya, the Takekuma heya, which is run by the former Goedo, so that's where he gets his Gonoyama from.
Just went under his actual name, I think, which I quite like as a young Rikishi starting out. Nishikawa.
Yeah, I do like that. I like taking your time. I mean, he hasn't taken his time because he's come in so quickly because he's been so good. So I guess he need to change it quite quickly. Any Gonoyama fans in the audience? Come on, hold up your towels there. Maybe they'd only need to be homemade. Oh, there they are. There's a homemade one. That is great. They've... It's that thing where you haven't left enough space for all of the letters. When you've got a number 1 to 20 on your page and you get to about 13 and you're like, I've made a mistake here.
Yeah, it is great to see those homemade, well, I wouldn't call it a towel. It's more of a banner.
A banner.
A couple of big A3s sticky taped together. Kids would have been up all the night before doing that.
Yeah, because they were really fat kanji, and you think that would be easy to colour in with a texter, but I actually reckon it'd take quite a while.
All right, looks like they are ready to go. Asaniyama, can he keep this streak going? A hush falls over the stadium.
Yeah, they're loving it.
Gonoyama down second. He's moved quickly to his left. That's unsettled Asaniyama. Gonoyama keeps his feet well, but Asaniyama's in a dominant position. Gonoyama fights his way off the bales, attacking the throat of Asaniyama, but a beautiful shoulder throw by Asaniyama slams Gonoyama to the dirt. And that's his Kachikoshi on day 8.
All right, that is not handmade because everybody in that fan club has one. So they've printed that en masse, and I need one. Asaniyama looking great. The last 3 days for him now have been a little bit of a test. Gonoyama, Shonanomi, and Roga. And it wasn't Shonanomi. But anyway, they've been a test, and he's overcome them. He had to step on the sagari then. That's not always useful. And here, this throw on the edge was really quick and powerful, and he's going to need to display this style of sumo, well, now, obviously, but also once he gets back to Makuuchi, he needs to take whatever's coming at him and deal with it, rather than in the lower ranks where he can just do his thing and dominate.
You can really see the Juryo Rikishi starting to evolve their style. Gonoyama, I think, quite cleverly just got out of the way at the start.
Yeah, tried to come at him from the side.
Exactly, because we've seen Asaniyama day after day to steamroll his opponents by just using his strength just to move forward. Gonoyama, lots of positives to take out of that bout. The footwork, I thought, was crisp and clean.
Yep.
Got himself out of a very, very bad situation there. Against an ex-Ozeki.
Yep.
Very, very impressive stuff.
Well, it's like with Terunofuji, you don't want him to come straight in and get on the belt because it's all over. And the same thing with Asaniyama. And so, like you say, we're seeing guys try to find different angles to come at him. So Gonoyama should absolutely take that away. He's 5-3 now, but great work from him today. Asanayama, can anyone stop him this time around?
Well, up next, Hakuyozan takes on Terutsuyoshi. Terutsuyoshi, I think he's probably the big, I wouldn't say story, but definitely a talking point as he's fighting from Juryo 10. And he's 1 win and 6 losses. We've seen, day after day, this Basho, Terutsuyoshi go out, establish a fairly good position out of the Tachiai, but then there's no strength to back that up, and he's being moved very, very easily at the moment. He does have 1 win. I can't remember who was that he beat. It was Hidenumi on day 4, which is a little bit of sunlight on a very, very cloudy day for Terutsuyoshi.
Yeah, that stopped at being 15 plus 7 losses, which I probably could add up myself if I put my mind to it, to 22. But in fact, it's only 21 losses and 1 win in the last 2 Basho. Obviously, something still not right for him. We heard a whole lot of stuff about him in the meantime between Basho, and one of those was that he was diagnosed, or he now knows he has diabetes. So maybe just still taking time to deal with that and you got to work out a bit of a regime. Got to work out how you're going to eat now. I imagine it's not easy to match diabetes with, a training regime and everything. It is something that we hear that a lot of Rikishi have, including Terunofuji.
Well, Hakuyozan comes into this bout on 3 wins and 4 losses. He's a 27-year-old from Yamagata Ken. As we see Terutsuyoshi, boy, he must be sick of this. Hauling the 1.1 kilograms of salt into the air. Thrills the crowd.
Well, now the question for me is he going to do it in Makushita?
Yeah, you'd have
How
to give
far
it away
down
by
do you
then,
do it?
wouldn't you?
Is he going to be down in Jonidan, just Jonakuchi hauling the salt up into the air? Is the one person in the stadium at 11 a.m. going to be, oh yeah, well done?
Yeah, well, the
Single
answer to
clap.
that question is yes, we will, because I
Yes.
think we will be seeing Terutsuyoshi
Oh yeah.
when we are in March. He'll be fighting from Makushita, certainly.
And we are planning to go early for at least one day, just to suss out what that's like. There was a matta then, so they are resettling here, Hakuyozan and Terutsuyoshi. What can he pull out today? He goes low, but he's pushed back straight away on the head by Hakuyozan, but luckily he can dart away, but that's all he's doing. He's just circling around the doyo, trying to get away from Hakuyozan, but now he engages, and they're flailing at each other with their hands. Hakuyozan not really managing to do much to Terutsuyoshi. They're kind of locked up here. Terutsuyoshi tries to get something going, but he's still back to back. Can't push forward at all, and he gets pushed out yet again. That is 1-7. He is on the road.
It's hard to watch.
It's not pleasant.
It's not, yeah,
is
you're
it?
right. It's not pleasant. He's trying, his body just isn't doing what he needs it to do. Feels like he runs out of gas a second or two into the bout. And you wouldn't say what Hakuyozan was doing there was overly impressive. That looked like training to me. There was a few attempts here that we'll see Terutsuyoshi try to get on the belt, misses grips here and there. Yeah.
He looks down in the dumps about it too. I've never been a massive Terutsuyoshi fan, but of course I feel for him at this point. It's hard to turn up every day and just be, blown over. It eventually must really, probably on the first day it really gets to you, but by now it's would really get to him. He can see many of his stablemates achieving some kind of success. We saw Midori Fuji yesterday. Really, he didn't win, but
Wow.
he really took it to Takakeisho. Nishiki Fuji's going so well. Takara Fuji, he's come back. But hopefully, they have some kind of idea of how to deal with him in terms of a training regime and a diet or a way of managing everything for him.
You wonder whether Kyujo isn't the right thing for him at this point. It's obvious
I wonder.
that he will fall out of Juryo.
Yeah.
Maybe a loss tomorrow and his Makakoshi might cause that to happen.
Yeah.
Up next on the doyo, we have Roga and Tsushi Manada. Roga, of course, impressed everyone with that effort against Asaniyama. That was on day 6. It was a loss, but I think everyone saw the potential in Roga and his future there. Roga, he's 23 years old. He's from the Russia-Mongolia border region. Absolutely exciting rikishi to watch. Very, very happy to see him working his way up through the ranks in Juryo. This time he is fighting at Juryo 9 and, as we see, chomping up the white dots in the first week of the Basho.
I really enjoy seeing these big, tall rikishi coming through. I love seeing them fight. Like these two today, Roga and Tsushi Manada, big, solid, coming together. I think we've had quite a few smaller guys and quite a few tall but like really big, like really round kind of guys. But these strong, tall fellows I enjoy seeing fight. Tsushi Manada, he's got a lot of strapping on, but he's going really well at 4-3, and I'm really looking forward to these two.
Very interesting to see what's going on in the chat at the moment. People are just talking about that rikishi in their life that they can't help but hate.
The feeling, when you've just got the feeling.
Mm.
Well, unfortunately, that's what I had for Terutsuyoshi. But I think you can also, sometimes that feeling changes over time and sometimes you can't get past it. Like some people are saying, yeah, Ryuden, I mean, he really didn't do great in life, did he? And if you feel that about Asaniyama, it's really interesting to see him coming back and a lot of complicated feelings around him.
Well, Roga down first. Tsushi Manada bursts out of the Chachi-ai, but Roga just collapses Tsushi Manada
Pancakes.
down. Yori Taoshi probably for that one. Frontal crush down. Comprehensive win for Roga. Moves him to 6-2.
Yeah, sometimes it's a stance or like a way of looking or no reason, like you're saying there, Siggy. It's just like, I love this guy, I don't like this guy. It just happens.
Siggy, why do you call Onosho Toofus?
That does need an explanation.
Yeah, that does
because that sounds cute.
Yeah.
That's like you like him and you're like, oh, little Toofus. Like doofus.
Well, I'm not
there's
sure.
so much in there. I've got so many thoughts. I need to digest this later.
I'm not sure what it is about today that's turned the chat into a river of hate.
No.
No, it's okay.
It's complex
I completely
feelings.
understand.
It's complex
completely
feelings.
understand.
Wow, is today Orange Day? Look at all the orange in the audience. There's a lot of beautiful orange and red. That just suddenly stood out to me. Have a look when they pull out the view, because now I sound weird. Pineapple pen. Yes. Hokuto Fuji doing pineapple pen, which I think now, has it been taken off the internet? The last time I went to look for it, I couldn't find it. He put it on his Twitter and he's taken it down off his Twitter. We all know why, thanks Abi.
Is it a copyright strike or is it the JSA?
But does it exist anywhere else? I need to see Hokuto Fuji singing Pineapple Pen again. Pineapple Pen.
Well, here we have the next two rikishi up on the doyo, Shimazu-umi and Hidden-umi. And we see that Hidden-umi is on a 4-day loss streak. He's on 2 and 5. And I mean, speaking of rikishi who have been sat out for a couple of basho and really not recapturing their form, Hidden-umi is the poster child of that.
Yeah, he's really just getting about his business at the moment. Not very well. Just turning up every day, doing something that we're all forced to watch for a couple of seconds. Shimano-umi, look at that towel.
Okay, well,
now,
too much going on there. I
need that, even though I haven't diagnosed my feelings one way or another to Shimazumi. I think I love his sideburns, actually. I think he's got verve. Got a jaunty colour of the Mawashi, and he is 4 and 3 at 26 years old at Juryo 10.
Well, I think he's Juryo 11
Juryo
this
11?
time, but his
Which
highest
must be
rank
10.
is Juryo
Oh,
10.
yes.
And look, I think, 4-3 coming into Nakabi is a good performance for him. Shimazumi made his debut all the way back in 2012.
I didn't call him Shiminaumi before, did I? Because Shiminaumi's
I don't
name
think
is
so.
right above Shimazumi
I don't think so.
in this Torokumi today. What can Hidenoumi thrill us with today? He comes in with the chest, but Shimazumi, he's on the belt. Hidenoumi locks up the arms, though, and pulls backwards and pulls Shimazumi all the way down. Even though, to me, it looked like Shimazumi was in a good position, he is pulled down by Hidenoumi.
Well, some classy footwork on the Tawada there from Hidenoumi. Saved that one. Shimazumi did all the work here, I think you'd have to admit.
Yeah, I think so. He got in on the belt. It's just that being one of those smaller, rounder men that I was talking about before, he was leaning in quite a bit. It does put him on a dangerous sumo angle, especially if his legs don't keep up. And in fact, his legs did keep up there. He was in a good position, but Hidenoumi, maybe a couple of years of experience on him, just knew what to do with that momentum shift and was able to tug him forward.
And thanks, Tim, for unearthing that stat to say that last Basho, Shimazumi was 3-7 and then got Kachikoshi. He won the last 5 days.
Good with pressure.
That is certainly walking the road to Kachikoshi. As we see next, up on the doyo, Shimanoumi and Taka Kento. Shimanoumi coming in to this bout on 3 and 4. He had a good win yesterday. Well, he did impress me. I can't remember who it was up against. It was Korokuzan. At Juryo 8, trying to find his way back to the top division, but I feel that it's quite a journey. His opponent today, Taka Kento.
At Juryo 12, he had 5 losses in a row to begin Hatsu Basho, but he's just won 2. So he's on his way back. He's found the way to win again. He's found the vibe of sumo and just picked up some wins against. He didn't go for too much here. He just went for Juryo 11 Chiyosakaye and Juryo 13 Kaisho, but he got the wins. And so maybe now up against Shimanoumi, he's got a little bit of inspiration, but not a great start for Taka Kento.
Well, it feels like only yesterday that Shimanoumi was up at Maegashira, as high as Maegashira 3, would you believe? That was back in March of 2021. I was going to say last year, but it's now approaching 2 years ago, where he went 4 and 11. And it's been a bit of a gradual slip for him. I think that was back in the days when we were doing daily podcasts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were talking about how the pressure of his upcoming wedding at that point was behind his bad performance.
Well, he's trying to make his way back now, can he? He hasn't been able to do that Shimanoumi chaos that I liked. I always felt that he was quite good at flipping it around and coming at a different angle during his bouts, but he hasn't really found that. There's some nice towel matching from Taka Kento. The green and the green. I would definitely do that if I was. I think it's very fashionable. Hakioi Sumo commenting that there's been so many Harakikomi. It really has been a bit of a plague this time around. There's also been heaps of Torinaoshi and heaps of Mono-i.
Can't have one without the other.
I guess so, but often they decide it one way or another. But I feel like we've seen more Torinaoshi in the first week than we often do.
It's more sumo for us.
Totally.
Well, here they go. They get ready. Get ready for Taka Kento to present the stomach to his opponent today. There it is! Check it out!
That was a long one.
Well, it was. Shimanoumi absolutely rocked mentally. Taka Kento comes forward, pushing hard. Shimanoumi up under the armpits. He gives ground. But Taka Kento continues working away. Shimanoumi had no way to stop that. Takakento, beautiful controlled sumo there. Flick the top knot back, mate. Not yet.
He will not.
Flick it back. No, he's leaving it there. That's cool.
I'm always interested who flicks it back because some people do. I feel like Endo is someone who'll always leave it there. He's just like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm too
I
cool.
think it's cool to leave it there.
But somebody like Tobizaru or something who's not as fussed with the rules, he'll always flick it back. Takakento, we've just learned something about him. He is a non-top knot flicker backera. But
this was just a clear.
it was good.
Clearly, Takakento just had the better speed, better power out of the tachi-ai, better control when it came down to it. I think it's something we see a lot from Shimano Umi. Too defensive with his sumo. As you said, he's not out there creating opportunities for himself as he has done in the past.
Yep. Maybe Takakento took a dare or something. Can you lose the first? How many can you lose before you start to win? He's like, I don't want to go too hard, just 5.
Yeah.
Because now he's lost 5. He's won 3 in a row. Great news for him. It is Kid Noaka, the younger businessman, up against the new wave, the new generation of businessmen.
The intern.
Up against Tochi Musashi, who is having a shocker, an official shocker.
Well, he's a black dot merchant this time around, Tochi Musashi. Kid Noaka, he is 22 years old. Can you believe he was born in the year 2000? Knows nothing of the panic of the millennium bug.
What was going to happen?
What was going to happen?
I was just talking to someone about that the other day, actually, about how they worked in IT and they were talking about how they prepared, and it wasn't related to, like, their system, it wasn't crucial, so it wasn't like, if the bank system goes down or something like that. It was something else, but they were talking about how they had to put so many structures in place, and then they were all watching it as it ticked over, and then everyone was like, we can go and have a drink now.
Well, they were all putting expensive structures in place, right? I think it was a scam. Wasn't it?
Like a scam on the
Well, I think the
level of the scams that we're being associated with now.
The IT cabals
got
together and they said, let's make up something about the date only being stored in 2 figures, and anyway, we survived that.
No, we did.
And luckily,
we did because we were born before the year 2000.
Luckily, Kit Nawaka's parents survived that. To have a beautiful baby boy on November 12th of that year, after all the panic had died down.
Look, I saw some discussion online earlier. I'm not going to name any names, Ben and Tim, about who is going to be Mr. Sumo after Chiyomaru, and whether it was going to be Bushoza. Now, I've started this conversation at a terrible time. I'll continue it afterwards. Kid Nawaka, he goes down early. Tochi Musashi needs to adjust the belt. He will not rush for no man, let alone Kid Nawaka. But now he's ready and he goes forward. He gets on the belt with the left hand, it looks like. He spins Kid Nawaka around as Kid Nawaka tries to get away. He cannot, and he's taken out. And Kid Nawaka is a man who feels his sumo. He is not happy.
Well, that was a very comprehensive victory from Tochi Musashi today. That left-hand belt grip landed it so early and just had the bout in his hand the whole time. Literally, well, not literally, he had the belt in his hand, literally. Had the match in his hand figuratively, and I've really confused myself with that as we see the replay, but Kid Nawaka could do very little about that. Love that little jump back into the doyo.
Yeah, he's like, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go right out. We don't need a mono-e on this one, boys. That is Tochi Musashi's second win. So 2 and 6, he has saved himself from being on the road. He doesn't need to pick up the backpack and the walking stick at this point. He's unencumbered. He can continue on into day 9.
Thaddeus, I love this imagery of Kid Nawaka in khakis and a polo.
Totally. And what bag would he have? Like, because I don't see him as a briefcase guy.
No,
like
backpack.
Takara Fuji.
He's a
backpack guy, but really close to the back, like quite a small backpack close to the back.
And in the backpack are his business shoes, because he would wear sneakers on the way to work.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know the type.
And a water bottle, but not on the side of the bag, in the bag. And sometimes it leaks a bit. Oh, no, not a water bottle. I'm changing it. It's a flagon of tea.
A flagon of tea? Do you mean a thermos
Thermos
of tea?
of tea. I I think you can say flagon.
I think
Of tea.
flagons need to be made out of clay.
All right, so who is Mr. Sumo? Okay, is Bushozan the rightful inheritor of Mr. Sumo?
Can I? I'm going to cough. And I think we need to back up a little bit because we need to define what Mr. Sumo is.
Well, can we? This is my point.
Well-
I think we all need to. I think the point that Tim's made there is a good one. Shimaru, he's still Mr. Sumo, and he might be until he's 40. That's right. But also, like, what is the vibe of it? It's not just a round guy doing sumo. Although Bushozan, he does look like maybe your typical Rikishi. But he's someone like, the reason I brought it up, and this is probably going to be very unpopular, but he's someone like Kitnowaka, Mr. Sumo, because he really feels it. He really always tries. He's like a turn-up guy, right?
Well, look, the thing about being Mr. Sumo is 50% of your responsibility happens off the dojo. Sure, there's a lot of people who go out there day after day, represent sumo in a positive light. It's what you do off the dojo that's hard.
What does Kitnowaka do off the dojo?
Anyway,
Drink tea.
let's come back to that. Let's have a look at this bout here. We have Toha Kuryu up against Chiyanokuni.
Oh, this is important.
This is a very, very big bout. Toha Kuryu trying to stay with Asaniyama there. He's on 6-1. His opponent today, Chiyanokuni, 5-2, and Sumo Punks. I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
Something has happened with Chiyanokuni. There's a certain lightness to his sumo this time around. We know for years he's carried injuries. He's found wins with these injuries. His body is old. His body is broken. But he finds wins. But this time around, this January, this Hatsu Basho, I agree with this person holding up the towel, Chiyanokuni forever. He's fighting without a fear of being hurt. And I mean, that's the kind of competitor he is. He's probably just not injured for now, and it might be around the corner again. But while he's got this window, he's going to find his way back to Makuuchi.
I do love that you've been talking about Chiyanokuni on 5-2 without us ever mentioning Kaisho yet, who's actually the one on 6-1 and possibly one more spot in the running for the Yusho at the moment. But Chiyanokuni, he's just the one with the vibe here. I totally agree. Kaisho. Did I say Kaisho? Toha Kuryu. For some reason, I think it's the green Moashi.
Well, look, the Abema vision switcher can't be wrong.
I know,
they are
not even showing him.
infatuated with Chiyanokuni.
I would have realised
here.
straight away if they had swapped to Toha Kuryu. Did they? No.
No, because there's a lot going on here. There's a lot for everyone to drink in. This champion with the contrasting towel colour.
Okay.
Gone a bright red. I love it. It's the blood that flows through his veins. Don't care about the opponent. There's only one person in this bout today. Oh, there's this guy. Toha Kuryu.
Who's that?
6.
It's Kaisho. That's actually a burn. Sorry, Toha Kuryu, but that's a burn.
Well, here we go. They are ready. Gyorji painfully, slowly brings that goodbye.
Pop it up, pop it up.
Put it up.
He won't.
It's because Toha Kuryu's mucking about. They're both mucking about. Chiyanokuni chomps the air, means he's ready for sumo. Well, Chiyanokuni moves to his side, brings Toha Kuryu around, but Toha Kuryu attacks. But Chiyanokuni now unleashes
Yes!
on Toha Kuryu, takes him across the bales. Well, that was champagne sumo from Chiyanokuni today. And they both leave the dojo on 6-2.
I am unbiased, of course. That yelling yes in the background, that was Yuki. But what a great win from Chiyanokuni. I think you're right in that what's vexing him, that's such a good way of saying it, what's vexing him seems to have disappeared. He's as fast as ever and he's moving forward like he hasn't been able to before. I mean, we're still seeing all of the strapping like you mentioned. I can't imagine the injuries have gone away. But, you know, whether they found a new painkiller that he's responding well to or something. or,
I think that
you
painkiller
know,
is
he's having a
called
Red Bull.
the
Red
l-
Bull.
the,
Red
lo-
Bull.
the love of sumo.
Yeah. He's rediscovered the vibe. And he's winning. So
Well-
this is very exciting. 6-2 for Chinokuni, and that takes Tohakuryu to the same.
Speaking of vibe, and speaking of sumo, up on the doyo next we have Atami Fuji and Daishoho. Atami Fuji, there's something about this kid.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hype when he made it to Juryo, and I was skeptical, as I always am. I want to see what they can do first. But he has that rare ability in a rikishi to lose a bout, but still come away the winner. In the sense that
In our
he
hearts.
tries, exactly.
I mean, I'm interested to know people's opinions of Atami Fuji, because we were talking a lot before about who you have that natural feeling for. I think it's harder not to have, a feeling of acceptance and joy for Atami Fuji, because he seems to emanate that. But, maybe people are like, that guy sucks.
Well, no, I mean, Sumo Punks have put it very plainly, my son, Atami
Yeah.
Fuji. Also, mods, could we kick Tim Sumo out of the chat for suggesting that Chinokuni's move was a henker there? Clearly not a henker. That was fine.
Tim,
Nah,
kick
just joking.
yourself out.
We love you, Tim.
Yeah.
Still,
Atami Fuji, beautiful. 3-4 though. We wondered the other day whether he hasn't got aggressive enough, which is not necessarily something we want to see in our beautiful son. But does he need to be a little bit more fierce, perhaps is a word for it? Does he need to really go out and just grab those wins in a way
Well-
that he hasn't done before?
we just saw a little bit of footage of Daya Mommy.
They are mommy.
Daya Mummy, the sumo fan who shows up to really cheer on Daishoho and Daya Mummy.
Loves oitakaze.
Daishoho, the 28-year-old Mongolian from, as you said, Oitakazebeya, has had a great opening week. He's on 5-2. He's a very three-dimensional Rikishi Daishoho. He's wide, he's high, he's deep
Yeah.
physically. And
That's
he's
true.
been throwing his weight around this week.
Well, before we said maybe Takakento had the biggest thighs in sumo, but I wonder if it's Daishoho.
Well, when we're there in March, maybe we
Measuring
could...
tape.
Well, let's just say you could try to hug as many thighs
Oh, I will. I will.
before you're arrested, and we could see.
Guys, you know how we've got the PayPal? I might need it for bail in Japan because I'm going to try and hug a thigh. How do I get the front row? Because then if they follow me, I can hug a thigh. Like that guy who pressed his face into Haramafuji's
Really,
thigh
he
that time.
smelt Haramafuji that day.
I can never forget that.
One of the memorable moments
Inhale.
of sumo.
Yeah, I mean, Atami Fuji, surely he's up there for the largest thigh. Hi to Brian. Thank you so much for your pictures. We were just extolling them before, and if you haven't seen them, they were on the Instagram, but I think the stories have gone now. But they were such great photos. I'll put the short eye thing on later. Daishoho, he's in early and up above Atami Fuji. Atami Fuji's on the belt though. Daishoho, he's reaching out for it, and he has slipped his fingers underneath his left hand at least, and he uses it to throw Atami Fuji down. Atami Fuji he's not doing enough with the positions he gets himself
Yeah,
in.
well, I think that was a clear difference in strength. I think Daishoho getting on the belt first was the death knell for Atami Fuji there. Atami Fuji, yeah, he did get on the belt, but wasn't really in a position to use it. Looking at the touchy eye there, you could see Atami Fuji duck his head down,
Yeah.
takes his eyes off his opponent, and when he resurfaces, he's already in a bad position. Look, I mean, Atami Fuji's so young still. I think there's a lot of room for growth in terms of strength and strategy. There's raw potential there at the moment.
But is that aggression thing where if he's not watching, we know it's really important to watch at the touchy eye. If he's not feeling like he can stare his opponent in the eye and stare them down, like I'd love to see a massive stare off from Atami Fuji. Just try to dominate his opponent before it even starts. But he doesn't seem like someone who's quite up to that point yet.
No, not quite. I mean, that will come with time. And, he's fighting 15 days in Juryo. Each basho, he learns a little bit more. Might take him some time. Just a note for people who might see that we're putting a screen over these ads. We are getting a little bit of copyright action on these YouTube videos.
Rude.
I mean, of course, we're restreaming a restream, but we think it might be the ads. So we're blocking those out for now, but we are still here. Nothing is wrong.
Commentate the ads.
We can talk you through it. There's some soccer coming up, apparently. Japan playing a team in red. Guy kicked a goal. Guy seems happy about it. Ball went out of bounds. Someone kicked a goal. Japanese guy's happy.
Daishoho has chicken legs compared to Takakento. Now, there are two parts of the leg, right, that I will stand up for. So Hakuho, for example, had chicken shins. What's this called? What's this back bit called?
The
The
calf.
back bit of the calf. Chicken calves.
Hang on.
Like the calf can be really small, but the thigh can be really big. For example, maybe.
Chicken calf is such a weird mashup of animals.
Chicken calf. Oh, yeah. But I feel I need to delineate that. Like a lot of guys in sumo have the most delicate calves I've ever seen. Like cut them off at the knee, and you'd think it was your normal.
Okay,
sized
we
man.
don't recommend anyone do that
No.
because we're already scraping together the bail money once Amy's arrested for hugging thighs.
Well, can I hug calves as well? I need to do
Hugging's
two
fine.
measurements is what I'm saying
Yeah,
here.
well,
They're going to
two-
need to take two.
A series of
hugs.
quick hugs.
Yeah, quick hugs.
All right, on your screen at the moment is Churano Umi, the Okinawa native, up against Oshoma. Well, it's been a mixed bag for both of these Rikishi this time around. Churano Umi at Juryo 6 is on 3 and 4. Beat Enho yesterday. Churano Umi, he's a Rikishi who I think can do better.
Yeah.
But has spent a lot of time in Juryo and really hasn't troubled the top division. He's never been near enough to the door to knock on it. On the other side there, we have Oshoma coming off that amazing 11-4 Yusho. Looks like they're ready to go because we were talking about chicken calves for too long and the ads were running. Churano comes forward, but Oshoma with his head down keeps his feet as Churano pulls his head down and he moves them back into the middle. Oshoma establishes a strong left-hand grip and he's trying to get something done with that. Churano wrenches it off though and gets a grip on the front of the belt. And we enter a moment of silence. The crowd get involved. Churano starting to drag Oshoma around. Now he powers Oshoma to the bales, but Oshoma resists and they find themselves back in the middle. I think they might need a little bit of a rest here.
Yeah, I think so. That's twice or maybe 3 times now that Churano has forcibly removed Oshoma's hand from his belt. It's really cool.
It's funny you don't see that a lot. Now, there's a lot of fiddling about on the belt here. Oshoma locking up the arm of Churano. Beautiful throw. Will he flick the hair back there?
I don't think Oshoma's a
cool?
hair flicker or back row. Too cool. Way too cool.
Cool.
That was a great bout. I really enjoyed that. Both of those guys really representing themselves there. Not necessarily their own styles of sumo, but coming together and forming a together vibe of sumo, which was really enjoyable to see. I liked Churano's just dislocation of those grips on his belt. That was excellent. And like you said, something you don't see a whole lot. I don't imagine it's easy to wrench that grip off, but he did it quite a few times, and it was a really effective way of stopping Oshoma's power.
We just see it there on replay. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
It does if you can get it happening.
Rip it off.
Yeah, it was really clearly seen there as well. His arms were really locked up, Churano, but he looked good there when he got Oshoma to the edge. Oshoma just really big and powerful and was able to come back and dominate from there.
Aniki, what you put in chat, smelling them is legal and divine,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, when
I
I
think
measured, I'd have a little smell.
I think we could use that as a defence in court. I mean, I'm not a
Ben's going to bail
lawyer.
me out in July, so that's
Okay,
good.
great,
I'll only
fantastic.
have to be there for a few months. I mean, I've got a big work thing in June, but if somebody could just email them and let me know, I won't be there.
They'll say, "Oh, so you're representing yourself as the defence today in court," and you'll be like, "Yes."
Smelling
What are
them
your
is legal and
what is
divine.
your opening argument? Smelling them is legal and divine. I rest
Divine.
my case. And then just bang the hammer down and say guilty.
I don't think I'd want to be in a Japanese
Oh,
jail.
I bet you it'd be really nice.
And
All right,
anarchy as well. Can I paint your name and logo on a sign for March? Yeah,
of course.
yeah. And also, Ben, didn't you say you'd hold up a Sumo Mainichi towel in July? I think we've got a challenge there. I think the pins need to go in the bin. We need to make the towel. Can you send a towel in a flat letter? That's what we need to know, because we've run into real trouble with these pins.
Yeah, so we do have some beautiful enamel Sumo Mainichi pins that we've had made up. If you'd like to buy one, you can head to our Bandcamp to pick one up. Turns out they're quite expensive to send, but we're sending them out.
We are anyway.
Well, up next we have Kimbozan and Daiamami. I'm sure we'll see a few shots of Daiamami's #1 fan in the audience in the lead up to this, Kimbozan.
Yes, he is so great. He is going so well. 25 years old from Kisebeya and has risen up the ranks so quickly. We all know what a success he has been so far, winning 2 Yusho, the Sandanmei and Makushita, relatively easily.
It's only his 3rd Basho in Juryo. He's at Juryo 5.
I would love to see him in Makuuchi. I think maybe he's going to be one of these cases where they get to Makuuchi and, struggle a little bit and fall back down. But somehow with Kimbozan, I'm not sure. I feel like he could be a success.
There's something about him that makes you go, wow, he's only 25.
Yeah. You start to think about the maximum that you feel like they could rise to and whether they're going to be one of those, Magashira 15, 16 who go straight back down again. With him, I feel like he's going to top out at like 6 or something. Like Wakamoto Haru, where you get to 6, you have a couple of like struggle one, and then you go back up again. I don't know. He just gives me that vibe.
So his opponent today is Daiamami, who, after winning the first 2 days, has dropped 5 in a row. So things aren't going so well for Daiamami at Juryo 2.
That's so weird, because I feel like every time I've watched him, he's won, but I've watched every single day. And he's 2 and 5. So sometimes you get a weird business in sumo where you don't quite register what's happening. Daiamami, you can do it. Although maybe not today against Kimbozan. Just trying to hype him up for a good match. A little bit of shuffling about. Good bit of staring. Although Kimbozan, he will not make eye contact. Don't be an Atami Fuji. Daiamami, he's established enough that he knows the power of a good stare. He's taking his time, all that left knee heavily strapped.
He's got a few boiled eggs in there or something.
He comes in, he goes for the left-hand grip, but Kimbozan instantly dislodges it. They move around the doyo. Daiamami, he is going for it. And he looks like he had Kimbozan in a difficult position, but Kimbozan is able to just shove him over.
Well, even though Kimbozan was moving around, he was really using a lot of the doyo there. He never really looked that worried. Oh, boy.
That looked like Daiamami just stopped himself and then let himself be pushed over. Now, I know the replay is going to show that not to be the case, but I wonder what happened to Daiamami here that took him out of the match.
Yeah.
He was pushed from
I think
underarm.
Kimbozan, once he started retreating around the doyo, I think cleverly they used the momentum of Daiamami coming in a bit hot, but that was a very, very accurate push. Tsukiotoshi, I think, there. I mean, that's the kind of bout that you expect to see when they do those Juryo, those tour bouts where it's,
like
where it's
a
funny
joke one.
sumo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like that discrepancy between when you see something at full for the first time at full speed and you're just like, what happened there? I cannot understand. You know, it looks like someone's taken themselves down or taken themselves over the Tuara or something. And then you watch it again in the replay and you're like, oh, of course, that's what happened. But it's so hard to see. Sometimes at full speed it looks like something's gone very wrong. But it did go very wrong for Daiamami. Kim Bozan, he is 7-1. So how is this Yusho race going? We've got Asaniyama at 8-0. He got his Kachikoshi today. Kim Bozan, he is 7-1. Who else have we got on 7-1?
Well, let's
Updated
while you have a look at Sumo DB.
No one else.
We have, well, about that if you do have children in the room, I think it's probably a good idea to shield their eyes.
Oh, no.
Akuwa coming in at 0-7. Korokuzan on 1-6. Akuwa.
What's happened with Aqua? He went 10-5.
Well, can we talk about Akuwa of November? We felt that we'd seen Akuwa turn a corner. He'd gone back to the fundamentals of sumo, which has pushed the other guy out of the ring. Simple stuff, and it worked for him. What we've seen this time, I don't feel like he's gone back to his meme sumo or looking for the, what was he doing, the kakanage. It's just failed for him this time around. He's 0-7. I mean, at Juryo 1, a time when he should be looking at playing it safe, moving back to Makuuchi, he's just dropped his bundle.
Absolutely. And like, I feel silly for saying that he'd rediscovered his sumo, because obviously he hasn't, but he did. He was looking strong, looking powerful. I mean, his disappointment after every match this time around shows that he's going out there with the right mindset. I don't know that you could ever accuse Aqua of not going out there and trying to win. He never seems to give up, although today he seems a little bit lackluster. But he goes out there with every intention of winning, and there's no tape, a little bit of tape on the left foot. Nice matching of the towel with the mawashi, which is something we're looking out for today. But yeah, disappointed every time he loses. He's on the road now. He's how long can he stay on there? I don't think he needs to pack much of a lunchbox here for the road, because
I think he'd be talking to his family and say, I'll see you this afternoon. His opponent today, Korokuzan, hasn't had a lot of luck either. He's coming into this at 1-6. Beautiful yellow on the Gyoji there. Akawa down first. Doesn't matter. He's nervous. He knows that the Makakoshi is right around the corner. He knows everything is riding on this. It's either that or he just messed up a little bit. Could be that. They settle again. Akawa down first. They meet in the middle. Korokuzan attacks high, then pulls easy as you like.
Oh no.
Makakoshi for Akawa. 0-8.
Yeah, wasn't able to find anything there for a win today. And that's his Makakoshi, as you said. He doesn't need to spend any time on the road.
Yeah. Well, I think Akawa will have a look at that replay and lament what happened there. Easy as you like. Another Hataki Komi.
Another one. There have been so many. So many this time around. And quick ones too. It's not like holding up for age. I mean, I guess a Hataki Komi, it's always happens quickly. It should happen quickly, because we don't want to watch a bout that goes on for a long time and he's really great and then ends in a Hataki Komi. That's possibly the worst Hataki. Actually, what's the worst Hataki Komi? Straight away. Henka won.
All right, the guy comes out and claps the big chopsticks, means that it's the final bout of Juryo. And could you ask for a better matchup here? Day 8, the final bout of Juryo, Enho Bushozan.
I love this. This is fantastic programming. We often bag out the programming of NSK. We don't like who they put together always. Sometimes they don't save the hype until the end of the basho, but this time they've brought it on day 8. It's Enho versus Bushozan, both on 4 and 3.
Okay, let us know in chat who you think's going to win this bout.
Yep. And how?
Well, I'll put my bet in as it will be Hataki Komi. I was about to say...
Oh, no! You don't want to see that. Put what you want to see. Not what you think you'll see.
All right. I don't want to say who I think will win this because I don't know.
I actually think it probably will be a Hataki Komi.
Oh, Bushozan slapping down Enho.
No.
Okay.
Not necessarily. Oh, actually, if Enho pulled down Bushozan, it probably wouldn't be a Harakikomi because he can't get over the top. It would be a...
Watanage.
Or a Shitatenage.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Shitate Dashinage.
Oh, well, that would be amazing. Well, Enho, we were talking about Akawa turning the corner. What we've seen from Enho over the last couple of basho, that's a Rikishi turning the corner. The sumo that saw Enho drop close to the bottom of Juryo has disappeared. And what we're seeing is a Rikishi confident. He's in form, he's strong, he is going out there with an idea that he can win it, and he will do something different if he needs to.
We've had a few predictions. We've got a Bushozan win by Oshitaoshi. Oh, you
Hikake.
gave 2. Hikake. Sure.
Now that kid's doing it all wrong. He's yanking at the bottom of the towel. Mum should be doing the shaking. He should be just providing some stability in the towel.
Yeah, he's
yanking
it off.
on the bottle. Yeah, it's no good.
That's good. That was good holding. That was a big towel. How come that towel was heaps bigger than everyone else's?
Can you get them in bath towel sizes?
That was a Bushozan towel too.
It was. It certainly was.
Honestly, there are so many different types of towel, and I don't know where they're all available, and it's really stressing me out. I can't go to work tomorrow. I must find out. Hype match, Bushozan staring. These guys know how to stare. Enho comes forward into the arms of Bushozan, into the hands on his neck. He is holding Enho up. They're slapping each other. He shoves Enho back, but Enho can get away. He's so great at getting away. He's now on the inside of the doyo, pushing Bushozan forward. He tries to slap him down. He can't. They both fall on the edge, and it is a win, and I think that's correct to Bushozan. Enho, he goes down first, but what a great fight.
What a brilliant bout to close out sumo. The crowd, look at them. They are beside themselves. They love it. I was hoping for a mono-e there just so I got to see the slow motion replay. Well, Enho did everything right there that he needed to do, but Bushozan was just too stable. And I think one of the great things about Bushozan is his footwork. Enho tried everything here, but it was always Bushozan on the attack. And it was Enho who was responding. Did well to get out of that big push across to the Tawara there.
Almost here. This was where he almost staggered Bushozan. I think his footwork's good, but sometimes he leaves the feet behind, and we see it often that he gets thrust down. But Enho wasn't able to take advantage of it this time around. Bushozan did stay stable. Almost fell down at that crucial point. That was where Enho was hoping he'd be able to take advantage of and do the Harakikomi, but he couldn't.
What a great bout to finish off Juryo.
That is the end of Juryo. Today we won't be sticking around for Hokuseiho in Makuuchi, but we wish him all the best.
Is this the first time he'll be guesting up in the top division? I think it might be.
Is it the first time? Great question. I think so, because before he was quite low. So that will be great to see him. We saw some fantastic footage before of Ichi Yamamoto answering the quiz question, one of the quiz questions for today, and that really created. We were talking before about Rikishi.
Well, it was the
you
day
love
one
and hate
question.
it. Ichi Yamamoto I'd lost a bit of feeling for, but when I saw him, he mucks around a lot. He loves Wakataka Kage. He's a huge Wakataka Kage fan, which is weird, and it reignited my love for him. So good luck, Ichi Yamamoto, today. thanks so much to everyone for being with us for Juryo today. Always so great to have everyone's company. Juryo rocks. It's where it's at. We saw some fantastic bouts. If you'd like to support us, we are Sumo Mainichi at gmail.com on PayPal, or you can order a Sumo Mainichi enamel pin, as many of you have actually done already. Thank you so much. They're in the post, by the way. We've sent those off on Bandcamp.
Why Bandcamp?
Random.
Don't ask.
It's because we're musicians and that's what we know how to use.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute joy to be here watching Juryo with all of our best friends. Hope you enjoy Makuuchi this evening or this morning, depending on your time zone. We'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Yatte, yatte, haki,